wants to know your take, man. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, who you got?
No, Mike Tyson.
Will be up against. He'll get teased for taking this fight, for one. He'll get teased for that. He'll work himself through that. But, yeah, if he goes out there and cleans his clock, they're going to come down.
With all the anticipation surrounding the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight, boxing legends have just shared their bold predictions, adding to all the craze surrounding this bout. Lennox Lewis recently simulated the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight, and it ended devastatingly. He wrote on Instagram with a gaming simulation of the fight attached, "So I hear Mike Tyson will be fighting Jake Paul. Not quite sure how that will go, but it could be something like this." The footage captures the moment when Paul and Tyson confront each other head-on within a virtual UFC simulation, engaging in a fierce battle within the confines of the octagon. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the music evening. In the blink of an eye, Paul found his head crashing against the canvas, mere moments passing before Tyson's victorious hand was raised high, marking a relentless knockout that left no doubt of his dominance. 5 rounds for the undisputed UFC heavyweight championship of the world. Iron Mike Tyson has graced the octagon. Tyson is ready to fight, and here is all over. I have to think this is going to distance, and he's dead. My mistake. Moreover, Paul's former adversary Tyron Woodley concurs with Lewis' simulation, hinting that Tyson will ultimately have the final say. He said the age is not a factor, that's a wash. Experience level is obviously going to go in Mike Tyson. If Jake Paul beats Mike, I don't give a if he's 70, you're going to have to put at least an ounce of respect on his name. Woodley commented that based on muscle memory alone, Mike Tyson could unleash a combination of moves potent enough to severely injure most people, even if he were to do so accidentally. At the end of the day, Mike Tyson just watching the do his ass in the bag. Like, I always have this inside joke, they be like, how much would you have to get paid to fight Mike Tyson? I'm like, God, never be able to spend it, like, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, he's fighting the person, the one fighter that most people fear, and I feel like 58-27, the age is not a factor, that's a watch. Right, experience level obviously is going to go to Mike Tyson, but Jay's got a loose man. He emphasized Tyson's extraordinary power, suggesting that Tyson could potentially rearrange someone's internal organs with a sufficiently forceful hit. He said he has the power and ability to shift organs in your body if he hits you with the right force, so I think he forgot more techniques than Jake Paul has ever learned in his life. Furthermore, Woodley opined that if Jake Paul were to be knocked out by Mike Tyson, regardless of Tyson's age, Paul would simply be joining the vast majority of ordinary people who would suffer the same fate against Tyson. If Jake Paul be Mike Tyson 70, you going to have to put at least an ounce of respect on his name. Mike Tyson right now, off muscle memory alone, he can have a flashback, right? He can step on the wrong eggshell and let off a combination that can kill most people. No bull, he has the power and ability to shift organs in your body if he hit you with the right force, right? So I think he forgot more technique than Jake Paul has ever learned in his life. UFC welterweight contender Matt Brown believes that stepping into the ring with Tyson at this stage of his career would be a regressive move contrary to his career's territory. Brown said, I think that's probably the biggest thing here. It's a lose-lose for him. Obviously, he's going to get a bag. We're all going to watch it. I'm sure Netflix is paying him well. We're all going to watch it. We're going to talk about it. According to Brown, Paul faces a dilemma where losing to a 60-year-old man would look bad, but so would winning against one, making the situation unfavorable either way, which Brown personally views as undesirable. Brown further added, Jake is getting that, but it's a lose-lose in actual fighting. You can't lose to a 60-year-old man, and you also can't beat a 60-year-old man to lose. It's garbage to me. Brown elaborated that in his view, Paul is embracing the role of the antagonist or heel in this scenario, aiming to draw viewers who wish to see him defeated. Brown added, Jake, obviously he's doing that because he wants to be in that position where everybody wants to see him get knocked out, and that's why they're going to watch. He wants to be the heel, but it's a 60-year-old man, and so he's probably going to be able to pull it out. That's an obvious storyline. Furthermore, Brown lamented that this upcoming match with Tyson is seen as lacking legitimacy and depth, essentially dismissing it as unworthy of serious consideration. According to Brown, we know the plot here, we know the narrative. It's not Tyron Woodley, where we're like, if Jake's a decent boxer, he'll probably win, but it's a great athlete he's going against that never boxed. This is just fin garbage. This is just straight fin garbage. Meanwhile, Teddy Atlas, the former coach of Mike Tyson, shared his views on the surprising fight involving Jake Paul. It's going to make money. You want me to say more than that? Is there a need to say more than that? Moreover, Atlas confessed to becoming a supporter of Jake. Credit this not to insignificant reasons, but to Paul's clear vision. I'm actually a fan of Jake Paul's, and I tell you why. The American dream. He had a vision, he had a belief. He went out there, he took all his YouTube, whatever you call those freaking things, all his YouTube followers, he went to a different platform, to a different arena. As I said, he had a vision for what he was going to do. Atlas noted that Paul did lose to Tommy Fury, but emphasized that the match was competitive. He expressed his respect for Paul's reverence towards boxing, stating that in his 50 years within the sport, he recognized that Paul had not disrespected it, but had instead dedicated himself to training and improvement. He had the guts, he had the determination to go out there and color in that vision and take risk doing it. Yeah, everyone says he fighting old guys, he fighting guys that are in real boxers, he's fighting guys that are boxers, but they're not good box at all. But he's taken risk. He's been in there with non-guy MMA guys that, like I said about Andel, you know, they might have been a little older at the time, they might not have been purely a strike. Obviously they were UFC champions, but they were champions, they were fighters. We know that Tyson has undergone a remarkable transformation in recent times, reclaiming control over his life and fortunes with impressive results. Talking about it, Matt Brown said, "I'm surprised Mike even took it. That's what I'm most surprised about. I don't know what Mike is thinking here. What makes him want to do it? I don't think he's hurting for money. I don't think he has a huge urge to fight at this moment." Mike Tyson is pressing pause on everything else to focus on getting fit for his upcoming boxing bout against Paul scheduled for July. Brown is perplexed, unable to comprehend his sudden dedication to this endeavor. Brown added, "He talks about it all the time. He doesn't want to be that guy. It's very odd that he's taking the fight. That's the odd part to me." Brown passionately supports Paul's participation in high-profile fights against non-box runners of his bouts with Nate Diaz or Ben Askren. However, he fails to comprehend the necessity of squaring off against an opponent who is mere years away from being classified as a senior citizen. Brown said, "I'm all about the Sid shows. I'd love to see him fight more sides shows. Go fight Mike Perry. I think that would be awesome. I think that's who he should be fighting. Grab Mike Perry. Get Mike Perry a bag. He's obviously a star in pick now. Everybody's talking about him. He would make a great promo guy. Should Paul seek out a challenging showdown with a renowned figure outside the boxing realm, Brown has just the right recommendation in store, and it certainly doesn't involve squaring off against Tyson. Brown believes that we can name a lot of guys like this that would be a perfect matchup, sideshow matchups. A lot of these. Mike Tyson is not at leave the guy alone despite his reluctance to witness it unfold. Brown clings to a sliver of optimism that Tyson is approaching this chance with earnestness, preparing himself for a genuine battle, aiming to knock Paul's head off. Brown said, "It's just garbage to me again. It really surprised me that Mike Tyson took this fight. I'm not sure what his motivation is." Brown continued, expressing a more extreme wish shared by others for Mike Tyson to channel the intense energy and aggression of his youth, even suggesting hypothetically that Tyson might resort to performance enhancers. Brown added, "But what I hope for, just like I'm sure everybody hopes for, is that Mike Tyson has that young 20-year-old rage, gets on some steroids to some trim, some check drops, and he goes in there and bites Jake Paul's ear and knocks him the out. And Jake Paul never wants to box an old man again." In a recent episode of his podcast Pete with Paul George engaged in a spirited discussion with his fellow hosts before unveiling his forecast for the upcoming bout. The boxing community finds itself sharply divided over this prediction. "I'm not going against Iron Mike. I'm not going against Mike Tyson. I'm not neither. Mike Tyson is one of those guys that you see his name. I'm voting vibe Mike Tyson. I'm going for Mike Tyson." While numerous enthusiasts favor the youthful 27-year-old Paul to emerge victorious, citing his age advantage. Despite his limited experience, there remains a steadfast contingent unwilling to wager against Mike Tyson. There exists a striking disparity in age between the two pugilists, yet Paul George remains steadfast in his belief that age ought not to wield influence. "I don't care the age gap. Let he take it serious, actually fighting a boxer like he's not fighting an MMA guy, he's not fighting a wrestler, he's not fighting an entertainer, he's fighting a boxer. I don't care how old the difference, the age gap is, he's fighting a boxer." In a notable incident from 2022, Tyson didn't hold back in critiquing Jake Paul's fighting style, hinting that he'd step into the ring himself if he were in peak condition. Tyson said, "Jake's punches you can see coming a mile away. You can see that coming a mile away. I'm 55, I can see that coming a mile away." Tyson further added, "I would beat these, I'd go straight at them. there would be no boxing. The only thing I got to do is be in shape. Meanwhile, in an interesting turn of events, Mike Tyson's fleet observation of Jake Paul's sparring session lasted a mere half-minute before he abruptly exited the scene. According to trainer Freddie Roach, Tyson didn't hesitate to exit the ring just moments after the bout commenced in 2022. Roach said Tyson looked at him and left. He watched 30 seconds of him sparring and left. He said, "Freddie, can we go downstairs and look at the pictures? That's my gym, and he knows that's where the good pictures are." He wasn't as interested as I was. He further commented on Paul, describing him as an average club-level fighter. He added, "Paul is okay, a club fighter. I don't know him personally, and I've never really met him. He was in my gym and wondered if they could use the ring, and I said go ahead." Meanwhile, Paul had plenty to say about those claims and suggested that Tyson had never actually seen him in action in the first place. Speaking to Talk Sport, he said, "First and foremost, I saw these things that Freddie Roach was saying that I was sparring at his gym." Paul firmly stated that he had never trained at Roach's gym and went on to criticize Roach, labeling him as mistaken and disparaging him as a detractor who no longer trains any notable fighters. He added, "First of all, I've never even trained at Wildcard Gym. Freddie is an idiot. He's a hater. He literally trains zero good fighters anymore. It is a Jake Paul hater. Mike Tyson has never watched me spar. Mike Tyson has never been in the gym at the same time as me sparring." Additionally, Paul asserted that Mike Tyson had never observed him sparring and had never even been in the gym simultaneously with him. He said, "I went to Wildcard once to talk to somebody for a meeting and for my brother's press conference there, but Mike Tyson wasn't anywhere in the vicinity, so it's just Freddie Roach spreading rumors." Despite initial reservations about Jake Paul's SKS, Tyson seems to have shifted his perspective with the announcement of their upcoming bout this summer. The seasoned fighter expressed genuine anticipation. So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos.